So I know what some people are going to be asking me. Didn't we already have a White House invasion movie come out earlier this year? The answer to that is yes. Yes, we did. And now we have another one. Hey guys, what's up? It's all about Mike 18 here with another movie review. Guys, in this video I will be reviewing not Olympus Has Fallen. No, not that White House invasion movie, but the newest White House invasion movie that just came out today, White House Down. So guys, White House Down, it's from director Roland Emmerich. It stars Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx. Now, getting back to what I mentioned earlier, guys, my little intro. Yes, we already had a White House invasion movie come out earlier this year, and that movie was Olympus Has Fallen. If you remember, that movie came out back in about mid-March. It starred Gerard Butler, Morgan Freeman, and Aaron Eckhart, and the White House was under attack in that movie, and you had one guy who had to get in there, save the president, basically save the whole world, yada, yada, yada. That was Olympus Has Fallen. Now, we have another White House invasion movie coming out just a few months later in the same year. That's kind of absurd. I mean, in almost my whole life, I don't think I've ever seen a White House invasion movie in the theaters. And now this year, we have two of them, of basically the same movie, coming out in 1 year. I mean, that's just crazy, a few months apart. But you know what, that's Hollywood for you, so what are you going to do? But anyway, guys, getting into White House Down. Oh, by the way, for the record, I did not see Olympus Has Fallen. I did watch the trailer for it, though. I wanted to see it. I missed it. I will watch that, so I'm not going to compare that movie with this movie. So just don't expect me to compare the two of them, because I didn't see Olympus Has Fallen. But I did see this one today. And White House Down, guys, I had low expectations going to this movie. I knew it wasn't going to be that good of a movie. What did I want from this movie? I wanted it to be a fun, mindless summer action movie. That's all I wanted. I love mindless action movies. I know they're no Oscar contenders, but I always have fun when I watch a mindless action movie. And that's the point. If you're not having fun while you're watching a movie, then why bother watching the movie? And mindless action movies are probably one of the best ways to have fun while watching a movie. So that is why I went to go see White House Down, guys. However, I knew it wasn't going to be that great of a movie. And since I lowered my expectations, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. There was, you know, it was still not that great, but, you know, it had its moments, and I enjoyed it for the most part. So let's get into the review, guys. Really quickly, I'm going to get into the plot. Now, the plot, I could simply say that it's a White House invasion movie. The White House is under attack, and Channing Tatum has to save the day, but I'll go a little bit more into it. So guys, Channing Tatum is the main character here. He is a Capitol police officer, and he is trying to become a Secret Service agent. So he brings his young daughter to the White House to have an interview to become a Secret Service agent. And while they're in the White House, these guys that are working from the inside take over the White House, take a few hostages, and now they're in control, and the White House is down. And the president is played by Jamie Foxx. And these guys want to take Jamie Foxx hostage, and they take Channing Tatum's daughter hostage as well. So they have his daughter hostage, and Channing Tatum, he does have an impressive set of skills. So Channing Tatum picks up a gun, and he has to save his president. He has to save the president, his daughter, and basically he's got to save the day from these terrorists that have taken over the White House. So that's basically the plot for White House Down. It's that simple. So guys, the story for this movie. I had a feeling it was going to be bad. I had a feeling the dialogue was going to be bad. I had a feeling the humor that we've been seeing in the trailers I thought was so unnecessary. I thought it was just going to be bad humor, not even funny. And surprisingly, the story was good. There was a twist towards the end of the movie that I really liked. The dialogue was good for the most part, needed work in a few scenes, and the humor actually wasn't that bad. You know, there were a few problems I had with the humor, which I'll get into, but I was a little bit surprised. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was, so I guess that's a plus for the story. Still, the biggest problem with this movie was the story writing, so there's that. But anyway, guys, moving on, getting into the cast. The cast I want to briefly just, you know, breeze through. Our main two actors in this movie, let's talk about them for a second, because they are obviously the biggest, they're the biggest things going for this movie. You have Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx. And Channing Tatum, let's talk about him. He's the Capitol Police officer. He's trying to become a Secret Service agent. And yes, I know the only reason why they cast Channing Tatum in this movie, because he's a very large guy, and they wanted to put a white tank top on him so he could get young girls to go see this movie, teen girls to go see this movie, and freak out when they saw Channing Tatum running around with his arms and his muscles and him kicking ass. That's the only reason why they put Channing Tatum in this movie. However, Channing Tatum was good in the movie. Don't doubt his act or anything like that. I loved Channing Tatum in 21 Jump Street. He was excellent in that movie. He was good in this movie as well. He did a really good job. Yeah, of course, they put him in the movie because all the girls are going to go see it for him. But anyway, I thought Channing Tatum still did a really good job. And I enjoyed his performance. And yeah, I think he's doing a good job in his movies. But anyway, Jamie Foxx, who was recently in Django Unchained, which I still haven't gotten a chance to see, unfortunately. But Jamie Foxx as the president. Jamie Foxx plays the president. He plays a really cool president. You know, he's the kind of president you would want to have. And Jamie Foxx was great in the movie as well. And the thing that I loved about the two characters, this was probably one of the best parts of the movie. Not the action, but it was this part. The chemistry between Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum was excellent. I loved seeing these two characters on screen together with their lines of dialogue. They were just spitting out funny lines of dialogue, and they worked well together, and I loved that. Probably the best chemistry between two actors this movie so far this year. Really enjoyed the two of them together on screen. Now, you got a few other actors in this movie. Really quickly, just going to throw their names out there. Maggie Gyllenhaal from The Dark Knight. She's in this movie. She was good. Jason Clarke, who was just in Zero Dark 30 and The Great Gatsby, is in this. Him and another character, James Woods, they were both badasses in this movie. And Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx were badasses too, but Jason Clarke and James Woods, part of the supporting cast, they did a really good job in the movie. I'm not going to explain their roles because I'll be spoiling things. Richard Jenkins is also in the movie, and yeah, that's basically it. That's all I'm going to get into with the cast. But the cast was actually one of the better parts of White House Down, so you will enjoy this movie for its very large cast and the actors that you have seen in other movies. So, moving on, guys, getting into this movie's rating. White House Down, unlike Olympus Has Fallen, which was rated R, White House Down is rated PG-13. Now, while I think the rating is kind of appropriate, this is a very violent movie, so parents, if any of parents are watching this video, beware. There is a lot of violence in this movie. There's explosions, there's gunfight, people get shot, people get blown up. It's not shown graphically in any way like that. There's really not that much blood, but, you know, people are shown getting shot. But, you know, you don't see them lying on the floor bleeding, you know, blood flying out, guts all over the place. You don't see that with this movie because it's not that kind of movie. It's PG-13, so you got to tone down the stuff a little bit. You know, you got to tone down all that, whatever you call it. You got to tone down all the blood and the gore and all that stuff. But, anyway, so yeah, I guess the rating's appropriate. There's some strong violence in a few scenes. Beware of that. There's language. But overall, I think your kids would actually enjoy the movie. You know, young teens, they would definitely, I think they would enjoy the movie for the most part. I think they'll have a fun time with it. But anyway, guys, getting into my personal rating for the film. Now, I know some people are probably going lower than what I'll go, but I'm not going to go over an 8. I'm going to give White House Down a 7.5 out of 10. I wanted to give it 7, but, you know, then I started thinking to myself, you know what, I had fun with this movie, so I'm going to give it a 7.5. Because that is, in the end, that's how I determined what I would give this movie's score. I enjoyed the movie, I had a fun time, it was a fun summer film, and that's why I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. But it had its problems. I'll get into those right after I talk more about the things I liked about the movie. Getting into things I liked, guys, the story writing for the most part was good. That is one of my biggest problems, but I'll get into that. There was one plot twist in the movie towards the very end when you thought the movie was over and they just surprised you with a plot twist. And I was happy about that. It wasn't a huge plot twist, but, you know, it was there. And I'm a sucker for plot twists, so I was happy that they included that in the movie, so that was good. Something that was actually better than I thought it would be was the humor. The humor actually was pretty good in this movie for the most part. A few scenes it was dumb, it was unnecessary, but in most of the scenes I was laughing in this movie. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I laughed more in White House Down than I did in The Hangover Part 3, so that's not good for The Hangover Part 3, but I enjoyed the humor for the most part in this movie. Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx both had some really funny lines, and I really enjoyed that with this movie. Even some of the really supporting cast, they had a few good lines as well, so laughed at some of that as well. Some of the lines of dialogue were good. Getting into the cast all gave great performance. Loved the chemistry between the two main leads. Great chemistry there, great acting. Now, getting into the thing that everyone wanted to go see this movie for, and that's the action. This is a great action movie, guys. It's really violent, and there's gunshots, and there's explosions, there's gunfights. You know, Channing Tatum has a sidearm in a few scenes. He's got an automatic weapon, and he's just firing at these bad guys, and, you know, there's a few cool gunfights. Jamie Foxx gets in on it, and it's really cool. Great action movie. This is a good action movie, because the action scenes are really, they're for the most part, well filmed, for the most part. But they're really fun to watch, really entertaining, and I really enjoy that. There's a few scenes, you know, you got helicopters getting a shot at, you got, you know, missiles being fired at, you know, there's this one really well-filmed shot of these helicopters flying towards the White House, and they're like flying towards it, and the way the camera's moving, I love that shot in the movie. I thought the movie was well-filmed, it was well-directed from Roland Emmerich, and yeah, so those are really the only things I enjoyed about the movie. I definitely had fun watching it. It was entertaining. I thought the ending was good, even though it was, you know, you kind of expected something like that would happen. But anyway, guys, I want to get into my problems with this movie, because this movie definitely is not a good movie in any means, but it is a fun movie. That is what this movie is. It's fun. Is it a great movie? No. Is it good? Yeah, it's probably good. So, guys, problems I have with the movie. This is probably one of my biggest problems with the film, and that I think that the plot was, here's my word for it, heavy. I think the plot was too thick. What I mean by that is that I think there was too much going on with the story. This movie's pretty long, and I felt that you had too many storylines going on. And I felt the same way with Roland Emmerich's other film, 2012. Yeah, you had like 4 story lines going on in that one movie, and that movie was so long. I said to myself, there are a few there's about one storyline I would have cut right out of that movie. Same thing with this. There's just, the plot is just too thick. If that even makes any sense, guys, I'm probably the only one that is making sense here. I understand what I'm saying. You guys probably might not get what I'm trying to get at, but I felt the plot was just, it was just too much. I thought it was overdone, the plot, you know. A little bit too much going on. They could have cut down on it. They could have worked on it. Could have edited a little bit, but that was one of my problems with the film. Getting into the length, the movie was a little too long for me. After about 20 minutes into the movie, it felt like 40 minutes had gone by. And after an hour into the movie, I was sitting there saying to myself, oh, I guess the movie's almost done. We got about another, maybe, what, 20 minutes left? I was wrong. We had about another hour and 10 minutes left of the movie, because the first 20 minutes was so long and boring, it felt like it was 40 minutes long. And I was like, oh my god, we still have so much more movie to get into. So, that was another minor problem I had. The movie felt long, even though it's really just a little over 2 hours, so there's that. Getting into a few things about the story. While I liked the humor for the most part, a few scenes it was stupid and it didn't even need to be there. You have the serious scene going on, and then you have this one comedic break, and it was kind of dumb. It didn't need to be there. Same thing with the dialogue. Especially in the first 20 minutes, there's this part where Channing Tatum is talking to a squirrel. Yeah, he's talking to a squirrel in the first, like, 20 minutes of the movie. And I was sitting there saying to myself, oh no, don't tell me the movie's going to be this bad. But it got better. So the first 20 minutes was kind of boring, actually. I did not care about what was going on. To be honest, I just wanted to get into the explosions and the gunfight and the White House being taken over. That's all I wanted to get into. I could care less about the first 20 minutes and about Channing Tatum and his daughter, you know, not having a good relationship. I really couldn't care about that. I just wanted to see explosions and gunfight. But anyway, so yeah, that's basically all my problems with the movie. I think I got into everything I wanted to get into. And in one scene, the gunfight. There was a gunfight scene, like one of the first gunfight scenes, that it was so poorly edited. I could hardly tell who was shooting at who. And I hate when a lot of movies are starting to do that now. The editing is just so rushed, you can't even tell who's firing the guns. And I'm like, slow the hell down, please. I can't see what's going on. This is too fast. Stop with the bad editing. But anyway, guys, that's basically all I have to say for White House Down. It's just a fun it's a fun summer action film that I think you're really going to enjoy. Let me say this much. Lower your expectations before going to this movie, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. You're going to have a fun time with it. It's an enjoyable action film. You're going to love the action scenes. You might not like the plot, but overall, it's a fun and entertaining movie. So, guys, 7.5 out of 10. Would I recommend it to you guys? Probably don't pay full price. Bargain Tuesday. I would recommend you see it. Most likely go Bargain Tuesday. That's probably what I would recommend the most. See, I paid like the highest price you could pay for it. I went later at night. And I kind of regret that, but I still had a fun time watching it. I did. It's an enjoyable action movie. It's just not a great movie. It's not going to hit my top 10 list at the end of the year, but it's a fun, mindless action movie. It set out what it meant to do. It accomplished its goal of entertaining the audience, and I was definitely entertained. My whole audience loved it. and I enjoyed it for the most part. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned. I got a few more movie reviews coming soon. Thanks again for watching, guys. Bye.